So this is just going to be sort of an update for the month of April because I've been lazy in getting in here and putting anything out here to everyone this month, namely just because so much has been going on, unbelievably so, you know, in the physical matter reality, lots happening with my car. A lot of financial things, and including taxes and things like that. The health of some friends of mine that are nearby. So lots of busyness in the physical. And as you may know, if you listened to the last video, some pretty major shifts in awareness in terms of my out-of-body experiences. Things are really starting to, fill out into a bigger picture here as we, come into the 3-year mark territory of when my activation, that's as good a word as any, happened. So I can see now that my experiences have all been based around the central workings of what happens for many people who come to channel. Not that everybody's activated in the same way or it happens along the same process or anything like that, but I can see now that my out-of-body experiences, it took me 3 years to see this, so let's go ahead and highlight it right here, that my experiences were based on an energy merging with me, which I said throughout the length of my relaying these experiences. That was the central happening that led into and fueled, if you will, my experiences in the out-of-body state. I understand now that this is not even close to being so for everyone, but it certainly is with some of us. And I can see now that this energy that's been merging with me, that has been allowing my consciousness to wake in the inner realms and other dimensions of experience, is also an energy that has plans, as it were, to speak through me to others. If and when this vehicle is completed in its readying for such an event, I can see now that that's why I've had so many body phenomena. Not that I understand in detail all the body phenomena that occurred, but I mean, I always did understand it to be central to this energy merging with me. I just had no idea that the channeling thing was the central course of action and basic plan throughout this whole thing until now. So with that awareness in mind, my experiences are also beginning to change somewhat, or perhaps just my perception, my overall perception of what's happening in them is beginning to change. The data that I'm being most aware of now is a little bit different than prior. More secure in the knowing that a lot of this has to also do with healing, not just the capacity I have within my own being to heal the body systems that it's associated with, this one included, but also others who we come into contact with and have agreements with, or can somehow aid and assist along the way. Also a very big part of the working, of which I'm very pleased. You know, it makes the past 15 to 20 years I spent as a care worker make a whole lot of sense. Didn't understand why I got into the line of work to begin with, why I stayed in it all of this time. Every reason in the world not to. It's not a profession that's highly prized or compensated or anything. But anyway, now a lot of that makes sense. There are some interesting things beginning to occur in my physical reality. These things have always been occurring. It's just that the degree to which they're occurring now is enlivening and quite humorous to me, in a joyful sort of way. So the energies coming through, are dialoguing with me in a variety of different ways. But one of them, from the beginning, or from somewhere early on, were communications through digital time codes, as many of you are familiar with. And earlier in the month, I had an experience where I was sitting down here at the computer, and I had looked up in the corner at the time there, and the time was 4:12. Now, this is a digital time code that's used with me as an invitation to participate in a personal healing of and with someone. So I note the time. I internally agree to wanting to consciously participate in this healing. And I go back to work. Now, about 30 seconds later, no longer, 30 seconds later or so, right in that ballpark, my gaze goes right back up to the clock again for some reason. Now the clock reads 4:18, which just isn't possible. It was 30 seconds, no more than a minute, but the clock is now reading 6 minutes later. And I'm thinking to myself, no way. I'm like laughing, but I'm also thinking, I know the difference between a 7 and a 2. I was sort of thinking in my mind, well, it could have said 4:17, but I know that it didn't. I saw that it said 4:12. But, that small smidgen of room for doubt in there. And so I go back to work on my computer, and this time, maybe 5 minutes or so later, my eyes go right back to the clock again. And just so that there is no doubt at all in my mind that this is someone attempting communication with me, the clock now reads 4:12 again. I just love these. There's absolutely no denying it after that last little bit, So like this, they're coming full circle. They're leaving zero room for doubt in the things that are happening now. And so, yeah, that was a really fun one. And then just a couple nights ago, I was listening to some binaural beats here, getting ready to go to bed, and I had taken them off, and I'm nice and meditated now, and in a what I would call a light trance state, and sort of coming out of it and more into fully into my physical room here. My eyes go through the window here, and I see a bright white light out in the sky. Lots of them out here because I live in a flight path to the airport, but quite some distance, so they're very high, and I can't really hear them at the height that they're at. But, I just sort of note to myself that this is probably just an airplane. And no sooner did I say that in my mind than the light just winked out, just absolutely disappeared. Now, this happens a lot too, and I don't think anything of it. I just think that it's moved into an area that's, just went outside my field of vision, for some reason or another, which sometimes does happen, You just have to sort of move yourself to the left or right, and, there it is again. And so I do this. And the light is absolutely nowhere to be found. It actually did just wink out, Zero room for doubt. Wasn't there. It was there and then wasn't there. So, again, the communications are just coming through a little more strongly, a little more clearly now. In a dream state, really super interesting. I've had many, at least a handful, meaning at least 5, interactions with both Bashar and the man who channels Bashar, Darryl Anka. So this is happening a lot as I'm coming into the awareness of the channeling that's attempting to begin happening through me here. So I've been having some fun with that. I bring back the full awareness of more of the interactions with Darryl than I do of the ones that I have with Bashar. I bring back the awareness that I was just with Bashar, but not a lot of the detail. Of the interaction with Darryl, I'm bringing back quite a lot of the detail. So that's sort of fun. What else? I had a couple OBEs related. I'm just going to do the related ones here. I had an interesting one happen the other night. Actually, this one was about maybe a couple weeks ago. I make one of those seamless shifts, no transition phenomena at all. The ones that are really super hard to catch. They happen. You're super aware of the OBE while you're in there, but because the shift is absolutely, zero perceptible, it just, you're there and then you're here. They can get by you. You come back here, and because the shift didn't have much phenomena to it, you don't even remember that it just happened. But my conscious awareness is slowly adapting to this, and I can catch them at least here and there. And it's one of these shifts, and I shift in there, and I'm being reviewed. My file is being reviewed. This is one of the first, just this type of experience is very rare in itself. It has happened periodically, through the last 3 years that I have become conscious in other areas of consciousness. But again, it's rare. So I shift in there. I'm in this review of my file. I'm sitting in a sort of restaurant, sitting next to this woman. There's a man, a waiter. He's putting something up on the wall. We're all naked. Everybody, and it's not ideal. Like when you're in the astral, a lot of times people are at their absolute height in appearance. This is not. Everything is what I will call real. Everyone is naked and everyone is real. Looks just like they do here in physical reality, floppy flappy at my age, and all of that kind of stuff, which is just letting me know of the authenticity of the event that's taking place. It signifies this to my awareness. And the woman is simply telling me that my file is not yet complete. This makes me wonder slightly here in the event if I had shifted in there to ask if I could leave now. Which is not something that I have consciously done, but maybe something that behind my conscious awareness I'm not aware of. But it was definitely a review in which I was being told, it's not time to leave yet. My file is not yet complete. As soon as I'm told this, someone comes by and hangs my file off the side of my seat, and I kind of feel like I want to look in there, and I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I do. I pick up the file, I open it up, and I look inside, and inside are all of these just pages and pages of crayon type drawings. And I'm going through them and having recognition, somewhat of a degree of recognition of these and what they are in reference to, but not in any very precise detail, just an essential recognition. And everything is colored in just hugely predominantly, purple and blue. Not a lot of other colors, just that really stood out in my awareness. A lot of just 95% purple and blue. I'm thinking to myself, was I supposed to use more color? you know, different types of energies, you know, through my experiences here. Or, you know, I didn't get that part of it, but not all of it. And from here, you know, with that wondering, I shift from my review there in my file into some experiences with people that I know here right now in my physical reality. I don't think I'll go into that. Just I found that interesting that I went in there possibly to ask if it was time to leave yet, and was told that my file wasn't complete yet. The task wasn't done. Okay, it's here, and so I'm going to do this. I wasn't going to do it until I'm absolutely sure, but I will just sort of put this through as something that has happened, that's interesting, that's related to the channeling. It happened just a couple days ago. I've had a handful of other experiences like this, but again, this one is very rare. I'm in the dimensions and coming awake. As I hit about the 55-60% awake mark, I'm looking into this object, this symbol that's right in front of me. As I'm looking into the symbol, it begins morphing into something that has a lot more detail to it. And I'm thinking, wow, that's super cool. And then as it completes coming into this extreme detail, a being pushes right through it until standing right in front of me is what looks to be an Egyptian man, approximately my age, in his 40s. And I'm immediately getting the name. And the name is Imhotep, who is a being who did reside on our planet. A wanderer for sure, as I read into him. I remember the name Imhotep from grade school, but you know, just I know nothing of the man. I did a little quick research on him after this experience. In the experience, I was with some other people, and we were using, I'm going to say, book knowledge. It was well kept book knowledge, but it was book knowledge to I'm going to say this very broadly, to do something. And one of the men who was here was wanting to step away from the book. He was wanting to stray from the knowledge that had been preserved. And there was another man here whose job it was to seriously hold the space and not let things stray from what had been preserved. And in the midst of this, you know, I'm wondering which way this experience is going to go. And this has to do with the channeling. This has to do with my system, this system being readied for the channeling. And in not knowing, you know, how this was going to turn out and which way it was going to go, Imhotep himself arrives. And it's his knowledge that we were drawing from. And now that he's here in the flesh, you know, with us, so to speak, I know exactly how it's going to go. No, I'm not confused anymore. And whether this energy is the actual energy that is going to be speaking through me, or whether Imhotep is the energy that's helping to prepare this system for the event, I don't know. But either way, interesting. More detail is coming through. And as more continues to come through, I will step up and let you know what's happening. Pretty soon, I may be asking some friends of mine to sit with me to see if I am able to bring another energy forward to answer questions or dialogue with them in some way. It seems like the next intelligent step